Hello, everyone, and welcome back. I am so grateful you have joined me today, and I can't wait to dive into something that has the power to change your life. You've been through so much, and I know you've given your heart, your time, and your energy to someone you believed in, but there comes a moment when you have to step back and ask yourself, is this relationship helping me grow, or is it holding me back? Sometimes we keep giving chances, hoping things will get better, but deep down we know the truth. If someone has shown you again and again that they can't be trusted, you have to recognize that trust is the glue that holds any relationship together. Without it, no matter how much you try, things will crumble. You don't have to carry the weight of someone else's dishonesty. You deserve someone who is truthful, who honors their word, and who values your faith in them. True change doesn't happen in words, it's reflected in actions. If they've apologized but keep making the same mistakes, it's time to stop listening to what they say and start paying attention to what they do. Don't let someone keep you in a cycle of disappointment and regret. You were made for more than repeating the same heartbreak. Love is patient, love is kind, but love doesn't manipulate or control. If they've used your love as a tool to get what they want while ignoring what you need, it's not love, it's control. You don't have to live in that kind of shadow. The right person will lift you up, not weigh you down. And let me tell you this, you were not created to feel small. You were created in the image of the divine with dignity, value, and purpose. If they belittle you, dismiss your dreams, or constantly make you feel less than, that's not love, that's a sign they don't see the treasure you are. Don't let their blindness define your worth. Relationships are meant to be a source of joy, encouragement, and strength. If being with them leaves you feeling drained, anxious, or uncertain, it's time to protect your peace. God didn't place you on this earth to live in turmoil. He gave you a spirit of power, love, and a sound mind. Finally, if they refuse to take responsibility for their mistakes, always pointing fingers at someone else or saying, "That's just how I am, you have to see that for what it is." Growth requires humility, and a refusal to change shows they're not ready to walk this journey with you. You are too valuable to settle for less than what God has for you. Sometimes walking away isn't about giving up, it's about making room for the better things ahead. Keep your heart open, but don't keep the door open for someone who has already shown you they're not ready to cherish it. Your best days are not behind you, they're in front of you. Let go of what's not meant to stay and watch as God brings the right people into your life. People who will honor your heart, your dreams, and your worth. You're not losing, you're positioning yourself for something greater. When someone consistently breaks their promises or twists the truth, it creates a shaky foundation for any relationship. Trust is the cornerstone of every meaningful connection, and without it, even the strongest bonds can crumble. It's not just about the lies they tell, it's about the insecurity those lies create. You find yourself questioning their words, doubting their intentions, and second-guessing your own instincts. A lack of trustworthiness isn't just a flaw, it's a choice they make every time they withhold the truth or fail to honor their commitments. You can forgive and you can try to rebuild, but if the pattern continues, you're left carrying the weight of their unreliability. That's not your burden to bear. You deserve a relationship where you can rest in the assurance that what they say aligns with what they do. Trust takes time to build but can be destroyed in an instant. And when someone has proven repeatedly that they cannot be trusted, it's not about holding a grudge, it's about protecting your heart and your peace. You were not created to live in the constant tension of doubt and suspicion. You were created to experience the freedom of a relationship rooted in honesty, integrity, and mutual respect. Don't let their inability to be truthful rob you of your joy. The right person won't make you question their words or their intentions. They'll make it easy for you to trust, to believe, and to feel secure. You don't have to settle for anything less. Change is one of the most powerful demonstrations of genuine growth, but not everyone is willing to embrace it. When someone repeatedly says they're sorry but continues to act the same way, it's not an apology, it's an excuse. Words without actions are empty, and promises without effort are meaningless. You may hope they'll improve, you may believe in their potential, but if their behavior stays the same, it's a clear sign they're not ready to grow. True change requires humility and intentionality. It's not about perfection, it's about progress. Someone who truly values you will take steps to address the areas where they've fallen short, not just for you, but because they recognize the need to become better themselves. But when their actions stay in the same destructive patterns, you're left in a cycle of hurt, forgiveness, and disappointment. You can't build a healthy relationship on potential alone. It's easy to get caught up in what you think someone could become, but if they're unwilling to take responsibility and actively work on their shortcomings, potential is just an illusion. You deserve someone who doesn't just talk about change, but shows it in their actions, their priorities, and their consistency. Sometimes giving another chance only enables the same behavior to continue. It's not your job to fix them, heal them, or carry the weight of their refusal to grow. If they're not willing to make the effort, it's not because they can't, it's because they won't. Don't let their lack of change hold you back from the future you deserve. Remember, change is a choice. The right person will show you through their actions that they're committed to doing better, not because they're perfect, but because they care enough to grow. If they're unwilling to choose change, then it's time for you to choose yourself. You were made for more than repeating the same mistakes. You were made for a love that grows, heals, and transforms. Emotional manipulation is one of the most subtle yet damaging forms of control in a relationship. It's not always loud or obvious sometimes. It disguises itself as love, concern, or even sacrifice. But deep down, it's designed to keep you questioning your worth, doubting your decisions, and bending to someone else's will. Manipulation takes advantage of your kindness, your forgiveness, and your desire to see the best in others. It turns your strengths into tools for someone else's gain. You may notice it in the way they twist your words to make you feel guilty for things you didn't do. They might shift blame to avoid taking responsibility for their actions or make you feel like you're overreacting when you express hurt. Over time, this kind of behavior erodes your confidence, leaving you second-guessing yourself and walking on eggshells just to keep the peace. Manipulation isn't love, it's control disguised as care. It's someone using your emotions against you to serve their own interests. True love doesn't play games with your heart or your mind. It honors your feelings, values your perspective, and seeks mutual understanding. Someone who manipulates you isn't prioritizing the relationship, they're prioritizing their own desires, no matter the cost to you. You might tell yourself that things will get better, that if you just explain your feelings more clearly or give them more time, they'll change. But manipulation is a choice, and unless they're willing to confront their behavior and seek real growth, it's unlikely to stop. You can't heal someone who refuses to acknowledge the harm they're causing. Your emotions are not tools for someone else to use. They are a gift, a reflection of your humanity, and they deserve to be treated with care and respect. If someone consistently disregards your feelings or uses them to their advantage, it's a sign they don't truly value you. You were not created to live in a relationship where love is a battlefield, where you're constantly fighting to be understood and respected. You deserve a love that is genuine, honest, and kind. The right person will never make you feel small, confused, or manipulated. They will lift you up, honor your emotions, and create a safe space for your heart. Don't settle for anything less than that, because your worth is far too great to be diminished by someone who doesn't see it. Respect is the foundation of any meaningful relationship. When someone doesn't honor your worth, it shows in the way they speak to you, the way they treat you, and the way they prioritize your needs. Disrespect isn't always blatant. Sometimes it's subtle, hidden in dismissive comments, belittling jokes, or an unwillingness to listen when you speak. Over time, it chips away at your confidence and leaves you questioning your value. A person who doesn't respect your worth will often make you feel like your opinions don't matter or that your feelings are an inconvenience. They may interrupt you, dismiss your concerns, or fail to celebrate your achievements. Instead of building you up, they find ways to minimize who you are, whether intentionally or through neglect. You might try to excuse their behavior thinking they're just stressed or that you're being too sensitive. But disrespect is a reflection of their character, not your value. When someone truly respects you, they recognize the unique qualities that make you who you are. They honor your strengths, appreciate your vulnerabilities, and treat you with kindness even in moments of disagreement. Respect isn't about agreeing on everything, it's about valuing each other enough to handle differences with care and understanding. If someone consistently disregards your boundaries, belittles your dreams, or makes you feel like you have to prove your worth, it's a clear sign they don't see the treasure you are. You were not created to beg for love or acceptance. Your worth isn't determined by someone else's ability to recognize it. It's inherent, given to you by the Creator who designed you with intention and purpose. Trying to make someone respect you is a battle you shouldn't have to fight. Respect is freely given by those who value you, and it's non-negotiable in a healthy relationship. Don't settle for someone who makes you feel like you have to shrink yourself to fit their expectations or tolerate their behavior. You were made to shine, to walk confidently in the truth of who you are, and to be surrounded by people who see and celebrate your worth. Remember, the right person won't just tolerate your presence, they will honor it. They will see your value and make it known in the way they treat you every day. You don't need to stay where your worth isn't respected. You'll walk away, not out of anger, but out of love for yourself and faith that there's something better waiting ahead. You deserve nothing less. Relationships are meant to add to your life, to bring joy, peace, and mutual support. But when someone consistently drains your energy, it can feel like a weight you're carrying every day. It's not always about dramatic arguments or obvious conflicts sometimes. It's the subtle, ongoing exhaustion of being with someone who takes more than they give. You might find yourself feeling tired, stressed, or emotionally depleted after spending time with them, and that's not how a healthy relationship should feel. Someone who drains your energy may constantly demand your attention without offering any in return. They might bring negativity into every situation, refusing to see the good in life or in others. Their problems might always take center stage, leaving little room for your feelings or needs. Over time, it becomes clear that you're pouring yourself out while receiving little or nothing back. It's easy to justify their behavior, telling yourself that they're just going through a tough time or that you can be strong enough for both of you. But even the strongest person can't carry the weight of a one-sided relationship forever. You're not just a reservoir for someone else's needs, you're a person with your own dreams, feelings, and limits. Constantly giving without being replenished isn't love, it's imbalance. When someone drains your energy, it often creates a pattern of emotional imbalance. You may start to feel like your happiness depends on how they're feeling, or that you have to constantly work to keep the peace. This kind of dynamic can leave you feeling anxious, unsure of yourself, and even questioning your own worth. It's not a reflection of your inadequacy, it's a sign that the relationship is taking more than it's giving. You deserve a relationship where you can recharge, not one that leaves you feeling empty. The right person will not just take from you, they will pour into you. They will lift you up when you're down, share in your joys, and walk alongside you in your struggles. They won't leave you feeling like you're carrying the weight of the world alone. It's not selfish to protect your peace, it's necessary. You can't be your best self when you're constantly drained. And you can't pour into others, friends, family, or even yourself when you have nothing left to give. Walking away from someone who drains your energy isn't giving up, it's choosing to prioritize your emotional health and your future. God didn't create you to live in a state of constant exhaustion and depletion. He designed you to thrive, to be filled with joy, and to experience love that uplifts and restores you. Let go of what's taking your energy and trust that there's a greater plan ahead. The relationships meant for you will bring life, not take it away. You're worthy of that kind of love and connection. Accountability is a cornerstone of personal growth and healthy relationships. When someone refuses to take responsibility for their actions, it creates a foundation of instability and mistrust. A lack of accountability often shows up in subtle ways, blaming others for their mistakes, justifying poor choices, or even acting as though their actions have no consequences. Over time, this behavior becomes a barrier to growth, both for them and for the relationship. You may hear excuses like, "That's just how I am," or "You're being too sensitive," as a way to avoid addressing the real issue. Instead of reflecting on their behavior and how it affects others, they shift the focus onto you or external circumstances. This kind of deflection can make you question your own feelings and even take on blame that doesn't belong to you. But the truth is, accountability is a choice, and refusing to make that choice is a sign of immaturity or unwillingness to grow. Someone who lacks accountability may apologize when confronted, but their words rarely translate into meaningful change. They might say what you want to hear in the moment, but continue to repeat the same actions that caused harm. Apologies without action are hollow, and they do little to build trust or repair damage. Real accountability requires not just acknowledgement of wrongdoing, but a genuine commitment to do better. When accountability is missing, it often leads to a pattern of unresolved issues. Conflicts are swept under the rug, problems are ignored, and the same mistakes are made again and again. This cycle can leave you feeling frustrated, unheard, and stuck. It's not your job to constantly remind someone of their responsibilities or to carry the burden of their unwillingness to grow. Relationships are partnerships, and both people need to show up with honesty, integrity, and a willingness to take ownership of their actions. You deserve to be with someone who can admit when they're wrong, take steps to make things right, and learn from their mistakes. A healthy relationship isn't about being perfect, it's about being accountable. It's about having the humility to say, "I messed up," and the determination to do better moving forward. Without that, it's nearly impossible to build the trust and respect that a lasting relationship requires. Refusing to hold oneself accountable is a sign of selfishness and a lack of emotional maturity. It says, "I care more about avoiding discomfort than I do about growing or honoring this relationship." You were not created to settle for that kind of imbalance. Your peace, your joy, and your future are too important to be tied to someone who refuses to take responsibility for their part in the relationship. Letting go of someone who lacks accountability isn't about giving up on them, it's about choosing to honor yourself. It's about recognizing that you can't make someone change if they're not willing to. Walking away opens the door for healthier connections, where accountability is not a battle but a shared value. You deserve that kind of respect and partnership. Choose to protect your heart and trust that better is on the horizon. When you find that someone's actions, beliefs, or priorities consistently clash with your core values, it creates a disconnect that can be difficult to ignore. Values are the guiding principles that shape who you are, what you stand for, and how you navigate life. They inform your decisions, your relationships, and the way you engage with the world around you. When someone's values don't align with yours, it doesn't just create friction, it can shake the very foundation of the connection you've built. At first, you may overlook small differences, thinking they're minor or that you can compromise. But over time, these differences start to feel like walls instead of bridges. Maybe they don't prioritize honesty the way you do, or perhaps their idea of success is completely different from yours. You might value loyalty and respect, while they seem to take these things for granted. No matter how much you care for them, deep down, you start to feel the weight of these discrepancies. When values don't align, it becomes harder to envision a future together. The things that matter most to you, your beliefs, your long-term goals, how you see the world, are non-negotiable parts of who you are. If they don't understand or respect those values, or if their values lead them down a path that doesn't align with yours, it creates an emotional divide that's hard to bridge. You might try to convince yourself that love can overcome these differences, but the truth is, no amount of love can change the fundamental beliefs that define your life. You may try to make compromises, hoping that the relationship will evolve, but the longer you stay in an incompatible situation, the more you'll feel the strain. Your values shape your sense of identity, and when you compromise too much of yourself to fit into someone else's world, you risk losing who you are. It's a painful process of self-betrayal, and no one should ever have to choose between their happiness and their integrity. The right relationship is one where there's mutual respect for each other's values. You don't have to agree on everything, but there should be a shared foundation of respect, understanding, and alignment. Someone who values you will recognize the importance of your principles and will work alongside you to build a future that honors them. If you find yourself constantly questioning your own values to keep the peace or avoid conflict, it's a clear sign that the relationship isn't serving you. You deserve a partner who not only accepts your values but champions them. A relationship should inspire you to become more of who you are, not less. When you are with someone whose values align with yours, there's a sense of harmony and mutual respect. You don't have to sacrifice your beliefs or your future for the sake of keeping the relationship going. Instead, it's a partnership where both people can grow and thrive, rooted in a shared understanding of what matters most. Don't settle for a relationship that asks you to compromise your integrity or abandon your values. Walk away from what isn't aligned with your true self and trust that in doing so, you're making space for the kind of love that celebrates who you truly are. In life, you are worthy of love, respect, and relationships that empower you to become the best version of yourself. When you find yourself constantly giving more than you're receiving, compromising your values, or enduring behavior that drains your energy, it's a sign that something needs to change. You don't need to keep fighting for something that isn't meant for you, nor should you settle for anything that doesn't honor who you are at your core. The right relationships will lift you up, not hold you back, and they'll encourage you to grow, not shrink. Remember, you are not defined by the love you give to others, but by the love you show yourself. Don't be afraid to walk away from what no longer serves you. It's not a sign of failure, it's a sign of strength, self-respect, and faith in the future that's waiting for you. Choose yourself. You deserve love that nurtures, respect that uplifts, and relationships that align with your values. Hold on to what brings you peace, and let go of what keeps you in chaos. The right people and opportunities will come when you stop settling for less than you're worth. You were made for more.